This is what we do here at Ivory Farms. We recycle everything. Most of the animals that we raise are herbivores, and we use their excrement as a type of a fertilizer. Rabbit poop. We use worms and worm castings. Uh, we use goats. Anything that we can capture that makes a fertilizer, we'll use it and try to make a product out of it. Let me take you through here where we can show you the in here.
So are you all recycling everything at Ivory Farms?
Everything we can recycle. We recycle plastics. We take leftover rabbit dung. We feed it to the worms. We recycle it and we use the worms to recycle paper, cardboard, after meal, leftover vegetables that we collect from restaurants in our co-op, and we turn it into black gold. We turn it into a product. We are an alternative energy sourcing organization, and we teach others to do the same thing. These are just some of our kitties. Those are some of our guinea pigs that we raise. And here's where we have the worm farm. We're putting in the worm farm. Over here we have wrigglers. We have an automated system that waters them. And we have worms on the ground over here. And over on this side, in our worm bins, we have night crawlers. And they're also automated. And what we do is we feed them leftovers. We feed them compost and leftovers that we collect from our restaurants, and convert that into alternative energy, which is castings, which we offer for sale with the worms. $28 billion industry is what fishing is. So worms are very beneficial. Aside from all the benefits that they provide for the earth, rebuilding the CO2 layer, rebuilding the soil layer in our environment. Basically, they're the first defense for Mother Earth towards recycling all the things that fall to the surface of the earthworm. Okay.
So the earthworm will live for how long?
They could live up to a year, possibly a year and a half. They don't live that long, but after 2 months they mature enough to start reproducing. They have egg sac, the little white band around the body is their egg sac. They're hermaphrodites. In other words, they just exchange DNA. They have both sexes. They exchange DNA with each other and reproduce and lay egg sacs and lay eggs in a little cocoon, 3 to 4 eggs. And every 2 to 3 weeks they'll drop these little egg cocoons. The eggs will hatch in about 5-10 days, and a little baby worm comes out. So when you get enough of them together, they can be very proficient. They'll eat their weight. So if you get 5 pounds of red wrigglers, they're going to eat 5 pounds of waste matter a day. So the bigger conglomeration of worms you get, if you got a 10-pound pile of worms together, you got to feed them at least 10 pounds of food every day, and they're going to consume that and give you at least 10 pounds of castings. So the process works.
And they can live in those castings, right?
Not for long after they take out the nutritional value that they derive. They don't eat their own castings. So you want to get them out of their castings after. They can survive in it for a little while because there's a lot of nutrient in there, but you want them, they don't want to eat them. That's when they're self-regulating. Once the food content of their bedding is diminished, they stop reproducing. So the longer you keep them in fresh bedding, the more active and productive they'll be.
And what can you do with the castings? What can the castings be used for?
The castings are very beneficial to the seeds. Seeds grown in castings grow 3 times faster than non-casting seeds. The earthworm produces secretions that are protective to the seed. Earthworms will not eat a growing plant. They only eat or consume plants that have died or in the process of dying and turning into humus. The protozoan, all of the basic elements, amoebas, are the food source of worms. So the soupier their environment, the better. They must stay in an environment 75% moist. Or they can live in sand, they can live in water, they can live in soil, they can live in many environments. As long as there's a food source, water, and the right temperature there, they will thrive in oxygen.
So are you saying that a farmer could put a seed, plant a seed, or germinate a seed in worm casting?
Yes, you can. That is preferable. The seed is protected. It grows 3 times faster than a normal seed without the protection of worm castings. Worms are God's gift to the earth. They are here to benefit plants. The essence of worm castings is magnesium, tin, zinc, iron, everything, the microelements that plants need to thrive is what the worm puts out. So every plant benefits from worms in the environment. Worm environment necessitates calcium. So eggshells ground up into a dust, very beneficial. Worms thrive in that environment. Coffee grinds, carbon, cardboard, grounds, nitrogen. Most of these things are the habitat of the worm. And if you provide them with that environment, they'll reproduce.
So also as a farmer, I could take worm castings, put them around my plants, or just as a gardener, I could put them around my plants and my plants will grow faster.
Excellent, exactly.
Okay.
That's what they need. That's what they're craving. We have a product which is a worm food that we're making. Contains eggshells, powder, coffee grinds, and compost that we recommend. We feed it to a worm. So all you have to do is throw some of it on the ground around your plant and it will start attracting the worms. The best deal you could do.
And why are worms good for plants? Besides for their casting, what other benefits do worms provide?
Well, our night crawlers, they're called night crawlers because that's what they do. They crawl around in the earth, burrowing down, providing holes that oxygen can oxygenate the root system of a plant. The root system of a plant has microbes and elements and components around the root system that require oxygenation. So the more oxygen that you can get to the root system of a plant, the happier the exchange of nutrient between the root system, the philia off the root, and the root system. The transgression of elements to that root system is what the worm actually facilitates, oxygenating the root system and leaving its castings close to the root system. So that act of burrowing in the soil is very beneficial, aerating the soil and leaving nutrient in the soil. The best thing you can do to the soil.
But the wigglers don't do that though, huh?
The wigglers are habitat are closer to the top of the soil level, in the leaves, in the debris, and breaking it down. They're not such a burrowing, deep digging worm, but they do need to be in soil and the environment with leaves and debris and humus, topsoil dwellers.
Okay, so you could feed worms any type of food scraps or paper scraps.
Not any type of. You want to stay away from carnivorous animal waste. You want to stay away from meats. Meats, by nature, the earth provides us with defense, with decomposers naturally. The fly, any type of meat breaking down, the fly is going to come in and lay its eggs in there. You're just going to get a lot of maggots in there. So, although maggots, they don't break down vegetation, they're looking for carrion to thrive in. Anything dead, worms, their larvae is going to try to eat it up. They are part of the system. We don't frown on them in the compost pile because Mother Earth doesn't frown on them. Mother Earth deals with them. We will have to deal with them in our compost piles as well. But foods like meats, dairy products, we frown from putting those into the compost pile because they require a different type of decomposer, usually the fly, beetles, or other insects, bees. Those decomposers, every creature that walks on the earth is some kind of decomposer because it lives on something green or it lives in the earth. So its food source and its housing is vegetation. So when you put a pile of vegetation together, you're taking their homes and their food and putting it in a big pile. So it's going to attract them. So, you know, you're going to have all types of creatures in the compost pile. It is recommended that you deal with all of them. All of them have a purpose. They're there for a reason. And losing any one of them may not be directly affecting the cycle, evolutionary cycle, but losing the majority of them is death blow to us. It's death blow to Earth, to Mother Nature, to Mother Earth. So we appreciate decomposers, and we do things to attract bees and the decomposers of the earth.
So what's the benefit of worm tea? Because a lot of people are talking about worm tea these days.
The benefit of worm tea is, it is, if done right, it contains, this way, give you a quick view of some of our rabbits that we have on the farm. These are our giant Flemish rabbits. We raise them, take care of them, and sell them. And we have some babies to sell. And just a quick view and here you'll get a quick view of our worm farm. We've got worms over here, which are wigglers, night crawlers, and over here we've got our wigglers. We've got an automated system that keeps them watered on a timely basis. And if you want to take a look, see what it looks like in some of our bins, these are some of the worms that we have growing here. This is one bin. Some of the wrigglers. Let me get another one. Let's show you a little bit more active. This is almost full of castings. We've got a lot of worms in here, and they've been eating on most of the stuffed cardboard, paper and stuff in here. And you see they're very healthy. We feed our worms basic after meal, leftover food and vegetables that we collect from restaurants. We have a co-op going by where we have restaurants separate their leftover after meal, their leftover eggshells, coffee grinds, and they put it into a separate container. It is no longer garbage. It is a product that we take and use, feed it to our worms, and turn it into castings, worms, and other products that we sell.
Want to show me the rest of the animals?